The US cannot keep dipping into its reserves ad infinitum. Japan can't keep doing that. China cannot maintain energy imports at the low level they are now forever. At some point, one or all of those things will reverse. And when they do, even the extra oil that we're getting out of Hormuz now unofficially is not going to be enough to plug that gap.
How do you view the current hostilities? Are we watching the US and Iran test the limits of the ceasefire?
Well, I'm calling it a peace fire, in that it seems both sides can fire at each other from time to time in what are considered acceptable boundaries while they continue negotiating this peace deal, which is basically taking forever at this stage and is always coming next week, next month, et cetera, et cetera. So I think we have to learn to live with this volatility going forward.
The US president has now said a deal to end the Iran war is close dozens of times. Has Donald Trump tested the limits of his power?
Well, I think it depends what power he's using and to what end he's trying to use it. I mean, there is certainly a lot more the US could be doing if it wanted to. And just to correct you, I think it's 37 times now that he's actually said a peace deal is coming soon. It will eventually arrive at some point if you think of it, in probabilistic terms, but we don't appear to be anywhere near there yet.
The price of Brent crude has nudged only slightly higher during the latest round of retaliatory attacks. Does that mean markets anticipate a deal is still the most likely outcome?
Well, I think there are a couple of things happening there. First of all, there are credible reports underlining that we've had external factors, for example, China importing a lot less, the US and Japan drawing down from their strategic reserves. But very importantly as well, more oil is getting out of Hormuz than we'd recognized because the official data show what's coming through with ships putting their trackers on. But it would appear that the US is telling them to turn their trackers off, go dark, and then still manage to get some stuff out what Iran isn't watching, which really is quite clever if so, because it's basically getting around the Iranian blockade. So that's calming things down. It doesn't solve the problem longer term, but it's certainly a salve for now. And I think that's allowing markets to look past the fact that we do get these bursts of violence from time to time, which, as I said, are a peace fire, whereby we're firing at each other while we're talking peace.
Is there a possible crunch point, though, for markets? Are we approaching that if there isn't a noticeable difference in the outlook, all the while energy reserves are being drawn upon?
Oh, absolutely, that's still the case. The US cannot keep dipping into its reserves ad infinitum. Japan can't keep doing that. China cannot maintain energy imports at the low level they are now forever. At some point, one or all of those things will reverse. And when they do, even the extra oil that we're getting out of Hormuz now unofficially is not going to be enough to plug that gap. And we will see a very violent repricing in markets. So the question is when that happens, and we're heading towards probably late summer, I would think, before that becomes an issue. But it is still looming.
Okay, so late summer, Northern Hemisphere time, you're saying in a few months from now?
Yes, that's correct. Northern Hemisphere summer. I'd originally published saying that I thought Hormuz would be closed until September and then we'd reassess. Trump has subsequently said Labor Day, potentially, that could be when it reopens, which is the 7th of September. But Vance, the vice president, speaking yesterday, said, well, a deal will definitely be done. Could take weeks, could take months. It will definitely be done before the midterms, which is early November. So we keep seeing that date being pushed back.
How do you view the most likely scenario?
Well, I don't think this is going to be resolved until the crisis gets much worse. Ironically, if we're getting that oil out, surreptitiously through Hormuz, and we are getting the drawdown in inventories, people therefore don't see the demand destruction. If life goes back to normal, this becomes an exciting headline in the background that you can kind of ignore, shrug, and just try and get along day to day without thinking about too much. That doesn't mean you're going to resolve it. So only when we suddenly start seeing the kind of panic that we saw earlier in the crisis will people actually start to think, how do we go about resolving it? So it gets worse before it gets better.
Michael Every, good to speak to you.
Thank you.